Hey, everybody, welcome back. We're on week 13, and I believe we are looking for treble here. Sorry with the puns, but maybe not sorry because I love them. Thank you. Um, we're following up with our quiz, our treble quiz from last week, that East at Glen Dart with those trebles. I have now posted those quiz results on my website, so you can go there. Information is down below in the description. And you can have a look and see if you were right. If you found the triplets that started with, or the trebles that started with a down bow, started with the trebles right at the beginning, or if you found the ones that started, that had the trebles in the middle, right? There's a third one, right, which is, and I haven't found any really great examples yet, but when I do come across them, we'll address them. But for our purposes today, there are only two trebles in jigs that exist for us, and that's the first one and the second one. Okay. Um, Now, I know that a lot of people get a little concerned about what bowing one must do. And indeed, it's reasonable to be concerned about bowing because that is the heart and soul of how we play any sort of music, right? So this gives you some notes and this makes it sing, right? So, but the deal is in Ireland and beyond, any folk tradition really, in my understanding, they don't really give a lot of time to figuring out exactly what bow does what, when, and where. Okay, that's just not done. They don't give generally, any deliberate thought about what goes into it. Most of the people who learn through tradition are learning by ear and by just imitation, doing their best to figure out kind of what another person is doing and not really paying attention necessarily to specifically what they're doing. Some people might study it a little bit further, but by and large, nobody's going to sit and draw up bowings for any Irish tunes, just in general. Just not going to happen. That said, like, well, then how am I going to figure this out? Well, number one, do your listening. Okay. Number two, I can give you some stepping stones to help you practice deliberately so that when your automatic brain takes over, it goes over these stepping stones. It automatically grabs them. So anyway, that's my thought on how we're going to do this. So let's have a look at East at Glen Dart and let's see if we can figure out some bowing with these trebles because we've already sorted out one rule, right? One kind of rule of thumb here where you bow, you slur into either beat one or two, right? So you could go, right? So that's slurring in the beat two. What's slurring in the beat one sound like? That's kind of cool. You can also, change it up, right? You can go, you know, all of those options exist. All right. So if you want to do any deliberate practice to see if you can get your brain or we call it muscle memory, but it's really just the automatic portion of our brain going, retrieving the easiest thing to do at that time period. And we create those easy things by doing the deliberate practice, right? So if you practice your slurs into beat one, your slurs into beat two, perhaps when you need to compensate for the two unison notes using a cut. Let's see. Of course, just playing one note per bow, right? That's not a big deal either. That's totally fine. Anyway, I'll get off of that track and cut right back on to East at Glen Dart. Hey, let's look at our first two measures on East at Glen Dart. So here we go. And you'll notice I didn't put any bows in there whatsoever. So let's just, do what we normally do and read it. So we'll start, get out of the way here, start down bow. So let's do this. Now that one I started down bow and my trebles also started down bow, which was fortuitous because I planned it that way. right? Okay. Trebles can either be in a down bow flavor or they can be in an up bow flavor. I will say that most people seem to prefer the down bow ones. I actually started doing the up bow ones as a kid. But to me, they have completely different mechanics. So we'll just do one flavor at a time. Since the most common one is down bow, let's make that our rule today, that all trebles today will start down bow. Okay? So lucky for us, if we start down bow at the beginning, but it works out great, doesn't it? What if we wanted to add another flavor and just throw out that slur into the second beat too? Let's see what happens. Here we go. Boy, that kind of throws off the whole rule that our trebles start down bow today, doesn't it? Well then, it looks like we have a problem, and I have at least 3 different ways we can solve it. That's what's kind of cool about this, I think. Give yourself a problem, use your rules and tools to solve it. So here's my first one. Let's add more slurs. Why not? Ta-da! I have decided to do maybe the unthinkable. I've slurred into my down bow treble. Oh, right? So yeah. And then I'm like, uh-oh, how am I going to get down bow again on the third bar? I'll throw another treble, another slur in. So let's do that again. Totally fine. But you know what? There's more than one way to do this. And indeed, it's in your best interest to try to find as many ways as you can. All right. Let's do another one. Here's another option. So we could go same thing. Oh, sorry. Let me do that again. Now I've decided instead of slurring into beat 2, I'm going to slur into beat 1 of the third bar, right? You know, and so on. So those are 2 ways that you could solve that first slur by adding more slurs. There's a really clever way, though, that maybe you haven't thought of yet. And boy, what if we just start up bow? We can do this. Here we go. And if I'm honest, that might be my favorite choice because of the mechanics of down bow trebles. Now, what I've discovered when you do a down bow treble is that you some people, I like this anyway, you take a little running start and you go up bow, of course, up, and I go off the string so that I can fall and kind of get a little bounce, and it makes a nice little all right, and I love that. All right, and I just kind of move the bow back and forth. This is only doable when you are actually quite relaxed. You cannot control this. This is one of those situations where, boy, if you are into classical music and you know your spiccato, it's sort of like starting spiccato and then like deciding against it. And from a bow arm standpoint, I'm using my smaller muscles in my wrist and my fingers because it's a small, short, quick movement. If you are stuck doing that from your elbow, I mean, you're going to be in pain, and maybe you can have a few extra Guinnesses as a result. I don't know, but whatever works for you there. Highly recommend loosening this up. Maybe we can do another video on that if you let me know in the comments if that's something that's interesting to you. But in the meantime, make sure you have a running start that's up, just a little off the string, and do a little sort of controlled, uncontrolled bounce. There you go. All right, so why don't we look at the B part? The B part starts out this way. Here it is. Works out just fine, doesn't it? But you know, no, I mean, you can play it that way, of course, but you could also play it like this. Whoa! I mean, you really could go down the rabbit hole, couldn't you? Let me tell you, when you get to the point that you're doing all that stuff down, you're probably not going to write it out. All right. But if you've never done this before, and if it helps you to give yourself some exercises to do some deliberate practice, um, another component of which needs you need to make sure that it is hard, that it is actually difficult for you. If you're just reading it and just then it's not really working. Um, I am going to make a page, and I think it's on my website right now. I did make a page of challenges. So I gave you problems, sort of like what is it? You know, like a Boeing math page or something. And I've just semi randomly stuck in these triplets, right? These the trebles, the ones that start are in the beginning and one in the middle. And your job is to make sure that those trebles are always start down bow. Okay, so you can use whatever tricks you already know. You can slur into your beats. You can use cuts to compensate there. You can start up bow. Nobody said you couldn't start up bow. And make sure that you have and. All right. And we'll see how you get on next week. Maybe we'll give you a new jig next week. Sweet Bitty Daily. All right. And we'll see what we can do with that in terms of how you might practice bows on a new tune. All right. Well, I think that's enough for me. So, all the best. Happy Friday, and enjoy your lovely spring weather wherever you are, I hope. Okay. Bye bye now.